Welcome back to the BJack 70 show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and there's a couple of things that we have to talk about. You see what the title of the video is, so we're just gonna get right into it. But real quick, just want to tell you, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Really helps the channel out, helps us get into the algorithm. More people see the channel, more people see the videos. So if you could please do that, I'd appreciate it. But we're here to talk about Dante Moore going back to Oregon, not going into the NFL draft. One of the few quarterbacks not entering the transfer portal, going back to Oregon for another year of school. And just want to say, first off, shout out to Dante Moore. Just because it's easy just to see where you're projected to go, read all the mock drafts, and just enter the draft. It's real easy to do that. But he made a decision to bet on himself, bet on his continued development to come back to Oregon and play another year of college football. So I want to shout out him at the beginning of all this, just, as appreciation of how hard a decision that had to be. And I'm sure him and his family didn't take it lightly. But I want to get into all the things, everybody that this decision kind of touches, either directly or indirectly, and if it's a positive or negative outcome for them. But Dante Moore coming back to Oregon, he turned down a shot at what's projected to be a $52 million contract with a $35 million signing bonus for the number 2 overall pick. That's what we don't know the numbers for sure, but it's projected to be around $52 million for the number 2 overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft. And we assume that if he declared for the draft, that he would probably go number 2, either to the New York Jets or somebody that was willing to come up and trade with the Jets to take him at number 2. And like I said, that is a hard decision to make. And I don't know how many people would have made that decision, especially in light of somebody like Drew Aller from Penn State, possibly being, I don't think he would have been a first round pick, but possibly being a day 2 pick, coming back to school, having a bad year, getting catastrophically injured, and we'll see where he ends up in the draft. But to be able to watch that and to look that in the face and to be able to make that decision to come back because I think it's pretty honorable, actually, because the narrative going around is that he didn't want to play for the Jets. And I don't think that's it at all. I think this is all about development. Because I'm working on something. I'm working on a written article. It'll come out on bjack70.com at some point between now and next week. I'm working on something looking at the starting quarterbacks currently in the NFL in relation to how many Power 5 starts that they got in college. And the long and the short of it for Dante Moore is right now he's at 20 starts. And that's not really above the threshold that you really want to see from a high pick at quarterback like that. And I'll get more into it in the article. I'll let you guys know when it drops. but I think based on just raw data of the quarterbacks that start in this league and the quarterbacks that make Pro Bowls and All Pros, I think it was probably the correct decision for Dante Moore at this time to come back to school. So yeah, there will be more on that when that article drops, and we'll get into that then. But up front, I think that specifically is why he came back to school, because I don't care if it's the Jets, if it's the whatever team you think is the worst franchise in the NFL, it doesn't matter when they're paying you $52 million. So I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think he was just comfortable with Oregon and his developmental plan going forward. So just wanted to say that. But getting into a list of topics that him coming back to school affects. Number one, this affects Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama. He declared for the draft, and he pretty much is locked and loaded as QB2 in this 2026 draft. If Dante Moore was in it, Dante Moore would have been ahead of him, but now he's not, and Ty Simpson is that number 2. Now, this helps Ty Simpson incredibly, because that's one less quarterback that you have competition with, and it definitely pushes him up the draft board for the quarterback needy teams. Does it push him all the way to number 2? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But this was a huge announcement for Ty Simpson and Ty Simpson's family. If you're unaware, Ty Simpson, quarterback at Alabama, was offered several different NIL deals to stay in college. Miami, Ole Miss, LSU, all in the running, wanted him to get in the transfer portal and come to their school. Offers upwards of $6.5 million. I can tell you why Ty Simpson turned that down, and he turned that down before he knew about Dante Moore. Ty Simpson has come out and said he got a first-round grade from the draft evaluator board. Players can get opinions from that board to let them know if they should stay in school or if they should declare for the draft. He got his information. All of it said that he was going to be a first-round pick. If he is a first-round pick I'll tell you, if he was a first-round pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the 32nd pick of the draft, Josh Simmons, his signing bonus was $8 million. The signing bonus was $8 million. Ty Simpson was offered $6.5 million. And if you're comparing just what he would get paid in the year 2026, 6.5, and you're still in college, or $8 million to be in the NFL, at least. That's the last pick of the first round. So I doubt he would get picked 32nd. He's probably going to get picked before that. But he made the right decision. If that evaluation is correct and he goes in the first round, he made the correct decision. And he said he didn't want to take any of these offers from different schools because he wanted to leave a legacy at Alabama. And that's honorable in this day and age. That's commemorable. He wanted to leave a lasting legacy at Bama. He said he was a captain, and that meant something to him. And I commend him for that. It seems like he made the right idea, but he really does need to write a thank you card, send a gift, send an edible arrangement, something. He needs to do something of gratitude for Dante Moore, because easily quarterback 2 in the class, and his life just got so much better, so much better, as monetarily at least. Don't know if it, because if you end up going to the Jets, who knows what it looks like. But yeah, this absolutely helped Ty Simpson out. And in that same vein of helping Ty Simpson, it did help Trinidad Chambliss also. And basically, for the record, all of the other quarterbacks that happen to be in the draft, because that's one less quarterback, and they all kind of get moved up a spot, because Dante Moore was going to be quarterback 2. So if you were quarterback 3, you go up to 2. If you were 4, go up to 3, so on and so forth. So it helps Trinidad, it helps all the rest of those guys, Drew Aller, Carson Beck, Cade Klubnik, all of those guys that are graduating and going to be draft eligible. Really helps them. Trinidad Chambliss is on his own journey, trying to sue the NCAA to get another year at Ole Miss. Don't know if that's going to work. I really do hope that it works, that works out for him. I would love to see him in college for another year. I think, given his circumstances, I think that should happen. But if it doesn't, if he has to enter into this year's draft, shout out to Dante Moore. That clears up another spot for him. So yeah, that definitely helps all the rest of the guys in this draft class. But Ty Simpson is number one. Moving down the list, a lot of people again are running with the narrative about something that they may not fully understand. And a lot of people are confused as to why Dylan Raiola, former Nebraska quarterback, transferring to Oregon, given that Dante Moore is coming back. If you guys don't know, Dylan Raiola broke his fibula, and he may not, he may be healthy for the start of the year, but he may not. He's probably not going to be, I don't think he's going to be active during spring practice. So Dante Moore coming back in an indirect way kind of relieves the pressure off of Dylan Raiola's shoulders. Like, Dylan Raiola can come in, he can get healthy. He doesn't have to rush to get healthy, rush himself on the field. He can be the backup, be whatever he's going to be, take some time, and essentially do what Dante Moore did behind Dylan Gabriel last season. So Dylan Raiola coming in, like, everybody thinks that he wants to play, that he wants to start, and I'm sure, that was, he would have been okay with trying to play if Dante Moore left for the draft. But knowing that Dante is coming back, I think this is sort of a silver lining for Dylan Raiola, because he started as a freshman, started as a true freshman, started as a sophomore in Nebraska, and it was kind of shaky. There was some good plays and there's a lot of bad plays. So he might need some time to sit down, sit back, sit behind a guy that's going to do what he wants to do in the future, and that's be a top 10 NFL draft pick. So he gets to sit back, he gets to watch that process. Maybe gets the redshirt year that he might have needed coming out of high school. So I don't think this is bad for Dylan Raiola. I think he again gets to sit, get healthy, can watch Dante Moore do his thing, and then in 2027, you're the guy, and you take the keys. Whatever you do with it at that point, that's on you. So I personally think that it helps Dylan Raiola more than it hurts them because obviously he had to have known coming in that there was a chance that Dante came back. And I believe since he committed anyway, that he's okay with the situation. I said it on Twitter earlier that his family seems to have money. I don't think he's in a dire financial situation to where he needs to play as soon as he can and get off to the draft as soon as he can. His dad was an NFL player. I think he's okay. I think, in the same vein of Arch Manning, he can wait a little bit. He can afford to wait a little bit and make sure his development also goes as well as it can, and that he's putting his best product out there on the field before he goes to declare the draft. So I don't think it's a problem. I really don't. And then it's not all positive. The team and the situation that this really hurts is the New York Jets. New York Jets heard Dante Moore on SportsCenter going back to Oregon, and I'm sure Aaron Glenn, wherever he was when he heard the news, fell to his knees and just looked up at the sky asking why. Because first, they don't get to draft Dante Moore. They have the number 2 overall pick. They need a quarterback. They don't get to draft what seems to be quarterback 2 in this draft. So that has been ripped away from them. And then on the other side, if they got through the interview process and they didn't like Dante Moore as maybe some other teams did, they could have, if they wanted to, they could have traded out of the number 2 overall pick for somebody else to come up and take Dante at number 2. Now that's also gone. So they've taken away the actual quarterback playing for them, and they've also taken away the possibility of getting a haul to trade down. Because on this channel, I'm going to do some film review on Ty Simpson, and I'm going to talk about Ty Simpson in that article because he started even less games than Dante Moore, so we will bring him up. That being said, I don't think Ty Simpson is a guy that you really want to take at the number 2 overall pick. And I don't foresee anybody moving heaven and earth to trade up with the Jets to take Ty Simpson. I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. So Dante going back to school was twofold, two impactful things that hurt the New York Jets. Very, very unfortunate if you're a Jets fan, if you're in the Jets organization, if you're Aaron Glenn, if you're whoever their GM is. Today was a sad day. Today was a sad day. And yeah, I really don't have too much to say on that front. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know who's going to be their quarterback in 2026. Is it Malik Willis? Is it Kyler Murray? Is it Tua? Who knows? Is it Brady Cook? Is it Justin Fields again? Who knows? I'm guessing not either of those last two, but at this point, you never know. There's going to be so many quarterback needy teams, and there's not enough starting caliber quarterbacks to go around. Um, maybe in this draft there might only be one, and that gentleman is going number one overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. So everybody else needs to get their affairs in order somehow. And so, last but not least, the person that isn't really devastated by this news, but this news comes across their desk and it's a little and that's Arch Manning and the Manning family. This could potentially hurt Arch Manning. And for the record, it's Arch and it's all of the other 2027 quarterback prospects. And not in order, but some guys like Julian Sand, Lenore Sellers, Sean Levitt, Brendan Sorsby, Darian Mensah, Jaden Mayava, even Nico Iamaleava. I don't know, he could be coming back into the mix. Now I'm not saying like all of those guys are going to go first round. I don't know if any of them are going to go first round. It's a year away from their process. We don't know how 2026 is going to go. But I'm looking specifically at Arch Manning because he has the pedigree and he still is that guy, even though he very seriously struggled at the beginning of 2025. As the season went on, he kind of got some momentum and he looked a lot better. And just because of his pedigree, he still is going to be up in that top 5 range at quarterback. He just is. And you may be mad at that. You may hate that. You may scream nepotism. I don't care. They don't care. He doesn't care. That's just, it is what it is. So take as much time as you need to wrap your head around that. But whenever Arch decides to sign those papers to declare for the NFL draft, he's going to be in discussion for a top 5 pick. That's just, it is what it is. But like I said, he got better as the year went on, gained some momentum, looked pretty good at times in the latter half of the season. But Dante Moore, probably another quarterback in the class that nobody expected him to be there. They were probably happy when Ty Simpson said he would declare. We all know Mendoza's going to go. Dante Moore was the question mark, and Dante Moore stayed. So now he'll most likely be in 2027. And given the fact that he was probably quarterback 2 in this year's draft, next year's draft, I have no reason to believe that he would fall further than 2. And most likely, given what we know and what we've seen, he's probably quarterback 1 next year. Because the only knock Dante Moore has on his game right now is experience and polish. And with another 13 to 15 games under his belt next season, he's going to get that. He's going to have the ability to show that development, show that polish, gain that experience. And I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be the number 1 quarterback going into next year. And that's probably not something that Arch Manning and the Manning family wanted to deal with. So, it is what it is. Now, I said it's not devastating, but definitely something that they didn't want to have to deal with going into 2026. So, with that being said, those are the things that were affected by Dante Moore coming back to Oregon. And I mean, I didn't really get into Oregon has guys coming back. Evan Stewart is coming back. They're signing guys in the transfer portal. Oregon is going to be another playoff contender again next year. They're going to be a hard out. Like they won 2 playoff games this year. Got a lot of guys coming back. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with again next season. They play Ohio State in the regular season next season, so that's going to be a huge game. But yeah, this was pretty big news, pretty significant news, and I had to come on the podcast, talk about it. Just because I've been thinking about this all day, and I had to get my thoughts out. Because it really is a very significant decision that, as you can see, affects a lot of people. But that being said, want to thank you for watching. Since you're still here, go ahead and like that video if you haven't. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I appreciate you being here. Brandon's Bets will be here tomorrow, and I'll give you the bets, and I'll give you the playoff preview. Divisional weekend, so 4 games. We'll go through all of those, preview those. I'll give you the bets, and I will have a bet for the college football national championship on Monday. So I'll give you all that tomorrow on the episode of the BJack 70 show. And until then, I'll see you.